Hey everybody, we're going to jump right in. This is the tutorial for salt dough keepsake. You are going to need some salt. You are also going to need some all-purpose flour. You're going to need a 1 cup measuring cup. And you will also need a 1/2 cup measuring cup. You're also going to need a mixing bowl so that you can mix it and mix it and mix it and mix it. Me and Len been listening to a lot of Ariana Grande over here. You're also going to need a pan laced with aluminum foil. You're actually supposed to use non-stick baking paper, but I didn't have any, so aluminum foil in the pan is fine. You're going to start with your 1 cup measuring cup. You're going to take your flour, and you are also going to need your salt because these 2 items will be measuring 1 cup. Now, I personally just start with the flour just because it's thicker, it's fluffier, and quite frankly, it's a lot easier for London to pour into the bowl where she really isn't making a mess. This part right here is good for the kids to do. Pouring and mixing and all that good jazz is London's favorite thing to do when she helps me cook, so that's all her. You're also going to pour your salt into your 1 cup measuring cup. I pour this because London tends to make a mess and it all doesn't make it into the bowl. So this is what it should look like when it's all in there. You're just going to mix it up and try to get it even throughout. You want an even mixture of that flour and that salt. Now this video is sped up, so I'm actually not stirring hard or fast. This is what you should get, a nice even consistency. It should look a little like this. London wants to touch so bad. I encourage you to let your kids touch, feel, see, experiment with it so they can see, you know, what it started out as and what it becomes. So you're going to take your 1/2 cup measuring cup and you're actually going to pour some water into it and pour it into your mixture. Then go ahead and stir it around slowly. This part is very important. This determines your consistency. This determines what your dough will be like for when it is time to knead. So this is after a couple of seconds. Still crumbly, so I'm going to keep going. I make sure to scrape it all off the sides of the bowl. Make sure to get it off the spoon. I mash it, stir it, whatever I need to do to get it the way that I want it to be. Mix it and mix it and mix it and mix it. Getting it all in there. This is what it looks like after a couple more seconds. I really wasn't satisfied, so I kept going. For the sake of the video, guys, I cut out a lot of the legwork me and London did together, or she did by herself, but she did mix a little. So that is the nice little consistency I want. You can see my fingerprint through it. So before you start to knead, I suggest that you put a little flour down on your counter. Helps it not stick to your counter. And you just put the dough onto the counter on the flour, pat down, move it around. Try to get it nice and smooth. It's easier for me to roll it into a ball, so that's what you see me doing here. I'm just getting all the lumps, bumps, and cracks out of it so that London can do her thing, so when she's kneading, it's not breaking and falling apart. Alright, now it's time for my little boo to do her thing. She loves to knead ever since I showed her how to do it. But first and foremost, we had to dry her hands because they were washed and they were wet. And you cannot do this with wet hands or it's going to be sticky and mushy. So she's just kneading, going back and forth, pressing it down, flipping it over, pressing it down, flipping it over. Make sure that all the dough is together. This is actually good for the kids to do on their own so they can stick their little fingers in it and be all squishy and nice and feeling on them. I'm going to take over now just to make sure that everything is intact. As you can see, it got a little stuck to the counter there. So rolling it in a ball for me is easiest to make sure that it is all together and I have a nice smooth outcome. This right here is actually perfect. You don't see any cracks, no lines, no anything. And when I press my fingers into this ball, you can see my fingerprint. So this is actually perfect. So I'm going to move on. I just placed it on the counter. From there, you take your rolling pin and you're going to roll it out to the desired shape that you want. Once you get it all rolled out, you can actually use cookie cutters for shapes in different pictures if you so choose. But like I said, London likes to do her things freehand. So this is what she came up with, somewhat like a oval. So after all the kneading and rolling and whatnot, this is somewhat of what you should have. Nice smooth edges, no lines, no cracks, no handprints. This is really nice. So here I'm just placing it onto the pan and just rolling over it to take out any necessary lumps, bumps, or whatever the case may be. Oh, the fun part, the prints. You want to make sure that your child's hands are clean because you do not want dirty dough. So I'm just placing her hand onto the dough. I'm not pressing it into it for the print just yet. I'm just placing it to see where I want it to be. Once you got your placement, you want to go ahead and lightly press down on their little fingers and hands, and then you're going to continue to press down a little harder until you get the desired print. Now this part is very, very important. You want to make sure that you lift from the bottom all the way up to the fingertips, but lift slow. You do not want it to lift off the paper or your foil. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the other hand, place it, see where you want it, see where it fits best. Then you go ahead and you adjust those little fingers and press down lightly, and then press down harder to get your desired print. I'm going to be honest, we first did this project when London was 2, and it was hard because she kept wiggling her little fingers. But as you can see, I'm trying to lift up slow. This almost came off the foil and her little pinky got messed up, but quick fix. I actually went to go get the baby and London poked a hole in it, so fixing that. But this is pretty much it. This is the salt dough keepsake. It's really easy to do. 3 ingredients, 10 minutes. This is the end result after I put the oven on the lowest temperature possible, and I let it be in there for about 2 hours until it hardened. We are going to paint these though. That's pretty much it, you guys. That is the tutorial. Please go follow us on Instagram, and that's the website. Thanks for watching.